Hey, it's Russ from the Infectious Groove Podcast and Vinyl Channel. Today I called in troops. I got my buddy Mike with me, and we're going to discuss a couple soundtracks each that we love, and then talk about what we want to hear from you as far as your favorite soundtracks. Coming right up. Soundtracks, they come in all shapes and sizes, from motion picture soundtracks to cartoon soundtracks to operas, plays, so on and so forth. And for a time there, I want to say late 70s to mid 80s, some of the largest selling records, well, even into the early 90s with like The Bodyguard.
Oh yeah.
Boomerang, even. Some for a while there, soundtracks were some of the most largest selling records of all time. So we wanted to share a couple that we love with you, and then have you light up the comment section with soundtracks that you love. And what is the first one that you want to talk about, Mike?
Well, for me, a soundtrack for me is always something that makes me remember the movie that I watched. You know, all the songs throughout the movie. It's no joke to anyone else. Blues Brothers is my favorite movie of all time. Packed full of music. It's almost a musical, but the soundtrack is just a run through of the entire movie.
I actually don't own the soundtrack. Is it like in order?
In order as it plays through the film, and it's great. And you got all the stuff that happens in the movie that you're fond of and you like to remember and listen to it and have that whole experience over and over again.
Which is sweet. Yeah, so actually my first pick is a lot more modern movie. Well, actually it's a remake of movies. But I think this is the third remake of it. But when you were saying that, the first thing that popped into mind of this is the soundtrack for A Star Is Born. It's in sequential order as it happens in the movie.
That's what it should
so
be.
Right off the top, it opens with Black Eyes, which is now the thing with this soundtrack is Shallow was really the only single off of it, and I don't like that song as much as a lot of other people do, but the rest of the songs on the soundtrack are great. Like the songs that Bradley Cooper was involved in singing and whatnot are fantastic. And for me, when you put this on, it's almost like the intro to a great live album with Black Eyes kicking it off. And then if you've seen this movie, one thing I like, and I don't know if it does this for the Blues Brothers because I don't have the soundtrack, but there's a lot of dialogue on the LP in between songs from the movie. And if you've seen this movie, there's a line from Bradley Cooper that says, "All you got to do is trust me," and it leads into one of the ballads on the record. And soundtrack-wise, it just instantly puts you, like you said, it reminds you of the movie.
That's the appeal of a soundtrack for me, is that you're almost kind of just getting that second kind of revisitation of that experience you had with the movie.
Yeah, and I feel like when I said soundtracks went to the early 90s, I feel like a lot of times what happened with soundtracks after that is they became more of just a collection of songs instead of an intent to remind you of the movie.
Yep.
So, moving right along, you have one that might cause some controversy.
I know, and I wrestled with this, but as you know, as I'm rocking this shirt, I'm a big fan of the Beatles, and
this is why God made the comment section.
This is a little unorthodox, but for me, as I said with the Blues Brothers, that's me enjoying this run through of music after the movie. It's kind of reliving that, if you will. This was quite the opposite. This is the Beatles Love album, and this, as listening to this, I was just getting into the Beatles, but hearing it in the mashup style, Giles Martin kind of went through and just tweaked everything awesome and spliced some songs together, and it was just this whirlwind of just an amazing journey of song with all the Beatles.
When we talked about doing this video initially, you were like, I don't know if that counts as a soundtrack. To me, it does. I would say it counts as much as Cats or Phantom of the Opera or any musical soundtrack, because this is not just a hits package.
No, not at all.
It's completely reworking the songs.
One of a kind in that regard.
And it goes with the show. It's in order as the show happens too, right? Yep.
And it made me want to watch the show though. So that's the thing.
Same here.
So once I saw the show, and then after you see the show, which if you haven't been to Vegas to see it, by all means, please see it 3 times.
Yeah, Vegas is open to the public, so
go on ahead, treat yourself. But when you get back, pardon the pun, thank you so much, from the USSR.
Smash like if you want to get back.
Yeah, smash the like button. You want to get back? Smash the like. When you're done with seeing the show and you go back home and you throw this back on, you're just reliving that whole experience completely different than the first time I spun this.
Yeah,
you're seeing that whole show all over again.
I think that's, to me, that absolutely counts as a soundtrack.
If you disagree, I don't love your disagreement, but by all means, throw the comment.
That's understandable. For me, this next one's going to be anybody who's been listening to music for the past 40 years will say, well, yeah, of course you're going to include The Crow. This soundtrack for me is, number one, what you pointed out about the Blues Brothers. It absolutely reminds me of the movie. Everything in the movie is so emotionally connected to the music on here. Save for Big Empty by Stone Temple Pilots. That doesn't really have a big moment in the movie. But I love that it's on here because it's a fantastic STP song. But for me, there's highlights on here like I don't dislike Nine Inch Nails at all, and I don't love the band Joy Division, but Nine Inch Nails does a cover of Joy Division on here that is killer. And it works, so it's like two things coming together on this soundtrack, and it's a great part in the movie that every time I hear that cover that's on here, it totally takes me to that scene in the movie.
Well, taking you to, that's another thing, is that it's time traveling, as we talk about.
Yeah, absolutely.
It takes you right back to that time when you watched, like for me, my movie, The Blues Brothers, the first time, when you watched this back in the day, you know, it takes you right there. Yeah,
this for me, I think I told you this when we were discussing the video. If I even see the cover of this album, it instantly puts me in the summer of '94, where when you got in a friend's car, I feel like the first two CDs in everybody's CD holder in 1994 was The Best of the Violent Femmes and the Crow soundtrack. Yep. It was like the first two CDs, and maybe the Pulp Fiction soundtrack in late 94 as well. So that for me is one. Now I know this one's kind of like shooting fish in a barrel. Like I said, if you've been listening to music for the last 40 years, you're probably like, well, yeah, you know, obvious choice is obvious. But I love this soundtrack, and I really think it's one of those ones that goes into what we were talking about with the Blues Brothers, where it connects you to the piece. And Mike's shilling.
You love this soundtrack?
I love this soundtrack. I love that soundtrack.
I love love.
Fantastic. That is all we have for today. Like we said, light up the comment section. I want to know, like, do you even consider Love a soundtrack? I do, personally.
Yep.
I think anytime that music is accompanying any sort of visual, to me, that's a soundtrack. Now, I know this is like one of the videos we did before with sophomore albums or the side 2 track ones, and I know this is going to be a thing that lights up the comment section. Let us know what your soundtracks are. I know I picked The Crow, but we talked about, like, we don't want to sit here and go, Top Gun, you know, or Footloose. But if those are your favorite soundtracks, tell us about it and why.
Yeah, Volume 1 then. This is Volume 1.
Yeah, this is absolutely Volume 1. As Mike so eloquently put it halfway through the video, make sure you smash the like button. If you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, hopefully today is the day. We've done enough to earn your subscription. Please make sure to hit the subscribe button. Mike over here is subscribed, so be like Mike.
Be like Mike.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for watching.
Love, love.